Now, start off with thyroid supplements and anti-thyroid drugs. First of all, what is thyroid hormones? What are thyroid hormones? How do they function and all of that? Just a brief overview. I'm sure you must have learned about it in anatomy physiology. So I'll just give you a brief overview of this thing. It starts off with hypothalamus. Okay? Hypothalamus will secrete one particular hormone called TRH, thyrotropin releasing hormone, which acts upon anterior pituitary. Your pituitary gland has two parts, anterior and posterior. Hypothalamus will release TRH, which acts on anterior pituitary. And in response to TRH, anterior pituitary in turn will start producing TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay, thyroid stimulating hormone is presented onto your thyroid glands. Okay, thyroid glands in the presence of TSH will start producing two specific hormones, which is T3 and T4. Okay, whenever they are there is a negative feedback mechanism between T3, T4, the levels of thyroid hormones, and TSH, in the sense that whenever your body is sensing that there is increased amount of T3 and T4 available in the body, TSH levels will go down. Whenever T3 and T4 are low, TSH levels will go up. Okay, so as to produce T3 and T4. That is how the mechanism works. Now, on a daily basis, you need around 15 to 30 micrograms of T3 and roughly around 70 to 90 micrograms. Okay, sorry, micrograms. That much is secreted in your body. Okay, and it is being used up. Now, normally what happens is T3 is the more metabolically active hormone. Okay, it is almost 3 to 4 times more potent than T4 and it will act faster. But the thing is that in circulation, in blood, the most common hormone that you will see is T4, thyroid hormone, because T3 उतना ज़्यादा stable नहीं रहता. ठीक है, it is very active, but whenever you are trying to transport thyroid hormones, it will be transported in the form of T4. Once it reaches a particular tissue, for example, thyroid hormone is reaching cardiac tissue. ठीक है, suppose this is a cardiac cell. यहाँ पर T4 will get converted into T3, and the T3 will go into the cell, it will bind to the receptor, and the receptor hormone complex will go all the way inside your what you call nucleus, and it will cause DNA changes where it is producing certain proteins. Okay, that is how thyroid hormones work. Peripheral tissue के पास, wherever it is going to act, that is where T4 will get converted into T3. T4 is thyroxine, T3 is triiodothyronine. ठीक है, again the secretion of these things will be controlled by other hormones as well. You'll also have calcitonin, which is secreted by parafollicular cell, but we have already discussed about calcitonin, so I'm not going to talk about that in this class. In any case, this is how T3 and T4 will function. What will happen is once they are going to one particular cell, ठीक है, अगर आप cellular level पे देखें, let's suppose this is the cell. ठीक है, peripheral space पे, first of all what will happen is T4 which is in circulation will get converted into T3. This T3 will bind to certain receptors, ठीक है, on the cell. So आके इधर bind करते हैं, let's suppose T3 receptor complex बन गया अब. ठीक है, now this complex itself along with the receptor, the whole thing will move inside the cell, and let's suppose this is the nucleus, it will get into the nucleus, and there T3 will bind to DNA of that cell. ठीक है, यहाँ पर जो आपका DNA रहता, it will bind to that DNA and it will start producing specific protein. It will regulate protein synthesis, because of which certain functions of thyroid glands, or specifically certain functions of T3 are elicited. Okay, now normally speaking, T3 and T4 are required for growth. That is the one of the most important functions of thyroid hormones. It is required for growth, for development, for functioning, normal functioning and maintenance of body tissues. Okay, if there is deficiency of T3, T4, especially in children, what will happen is they will have a big problem called cretinism. Okay, congenital deficiency in thyroid hormones will lead to cretinism, the child will not grow properly. It is also responsible for metabolic, increasing metabolic rate and enhancing carbohydrate and protein metabolism, okay, by stimulating breakdown of fat and doing all of that. So if T3 and T4 are low, that will not occur in a child. Okay, so in those conditions, it is very important that you diagnose the child quickly and you are able to supplement them. They have to take lifelong supplementation of thyroid hormones, but if you're not able to correct it in time, they will have what you call permanent growth problems. All right. Other than that, T3 and T4 are also responsible for facilitating erythropoiesis. Okay. And making sure that your CNS and skeletal muscles are functioning properly. They also tend to have some effect on your cardiovascular, reproductive, and GI systems. Okay. Specifically in GI system, where if a patient has lower than normal thyroid hormones, agar someone is having lower T3 and T4, they will generally have constipation. Okay, low amounts of thyroid hormones will lead to decreased peristalsis in a way, because of which constipation occurs. If there is increased thyroid hormones, on the other hand, the patient will have diarrhea. Okay, so both are bad. You need to have a normal level of thyroid hormones in your body. Now, where do you use these thyroid hormones? Mainly thyroid hormones के जो forms रहते, you have synthetic forms of T3 and T4 which are used in hypothyroidism. ठीक है. Mainly you will use it as a replacement therapy in cretinism. If you use it as replacement therapy, दो तीन जगह यूज कर सकते हैं आप. ठीक है. रिप्लेसमेंट. ठीक है. आप रिप्लेसमेंट यूज करेंगे क्रेटिनिज्म में. ठीक है. This is lifelong therapy. Once a boy or a girl, some child is diagnosed with cretinism, they have to keep on taking this thing, these thyroid hormones. Okay. Extreme deficiency of iodine can also cause sometimes cretinism, because iodine is responsible for, or to put it in another way, iodine is required for T3 and T4 synthesis. Thyroid follicles के अंदर जो store होता T3 and T4, without iodine your thyroid gland will not be able to produce any T3 and T4. Right. So if a patient has cretinism, what you do is you give them levothyroxine, 10 to 15 mcg, 10 to 15 microgram per kg body weight daily. Okay. That much amount of levothyroxine is given. So levothyroxine is the levo form of T4. Okay. Once you give it, it will get converted into thyroxine in your body. It gets absorbed easily in levo form. That is why it is given in levo form. Now this replacement, as I told you, it will go on for life if the patient has cretinism. या फिर you can also use it as replacement in hypothyroidism. ठीक है. हाइपोथायरॉयडिज्म इन अडल्ट्स, उसमें आप लेवोथायरॉक्सिन यूज कर सकते हैं. यू यूज अराउंड 50 माइक्रोग्राम एवरी डे rather than giving it as per body weight. You'll give 50 mcg daily, and you can increase it gradually every 2 to 3 weeks depending on plasma TSH levels. ठीक है. अगर TSH बहुत कम है, then thyroid hormones produce नहीं होते बराबर, because of which you might have to increase the synthetic drug that you are giving to the patient. Then you can also give it in myxedema coma. Myxedema coma. ठीक है. This is technically a medical emergency. If a patient is going into myxedema crisis, भी बोलते हैं इसको, myxedema coma, patient should be given thyroxine IV. 500 mcg will immediately be given. You can also give levothyroxine. Levothyroxine अगर दे रहे हो तो 100 micrograms दे सकते हैं. Okay. Generally, prophylactic glucocorticoids are given to avoid adrenal insufficiency. Okay, you can give glucocorticoids prophylactically along with this in myxedema crisis. That is one use. Okay. और कहाँ use कर सकते हैं? You can use it in non-toxic goiter. Non-toxic goiter में क्या हो रहा? T4 will be given. This is specifically to suppress TSH production. Non-toxic goiter is when the patient is having a lot of TSH, but they do not have enough amount of T3 and T4 being produced. Okay, even though TSH is there, T3 and T4 is not being produced, and as a result of increased amount of TSH, what happens is thyroid gland will start enlarging. Okay, there will be diffuse or nodular enlargement of your thyroid gland in response to higher TSH. तो आप क्या करते हैं? If you start giving T3 and T4 in response to higher amount of T3 and T4, your body will stop producing TSH. That is the idea behind it. Non-toxic goiter में क्या हो रहा? There is increased amount of TSH. Normally, if TSH is high, thyroid gland पे काम करता TSH, and you will end up having increased amount of T3 T4. In non-toxic goiter, TSH is present in high amounts, but there is no conversion of TSH, or TSH is not exactly able to induce the formation of T3 T4. Let us put it that way. So even though there is increased amount of TSH, there is almost no to nil amount of T3 T4. That is a problem, because your body will keep on thinking, there is lesser amount of thyroid hormones, let us produce more TSH. That will cause enlargement of your thyroid gland. That is a problem. So what you can do is, if you give thyroxine or if you give T4, this increased amount of TSH will be decreased, and you'll be able to reverse the effects of goiter. You can reverse the enlargement of your thyroid gland. Then you can also give it in thyroid carcinoma. टेम्पररी रेमिशन के लिए T4 दे सकते. Generally after surgery it is given. Yeah, फिर you can give it for refractory anemias. Refractory anemias is when your marrow blood cells will fail to mature. They will not mature properly and they do not work properly. Or you can give it in infertility, yeah, non-healing ulcers. In all of these you can give thyroid supplements. Now, this is hypothyroidism, or problems where thyroid hormones are required, where thyroid hormones are either low or they are not being produced, where you are supplementing with thyroid hormones. On the flip side, you can have hyperthyroid drugs as well, in the sense that anti-thyroid drugs which are being given in hyperthyroidism. See, hyperthyroidism, as the name suggests, is when you have excessive amount of thyroid hormones in your circulation. T3, T4 are way more than normal. Now, there are several causes for hyperthyroidism, but the most common cause is an autoimmune condition, autoimmune disorder called Graves' disease. ठीक है? Graves' disease में क्या होता है? There is way too much production of T3 and T4, and there will be a diffuse goiter. Specifically, what happens is, in Graves' disease, IgG type of antibodies are produced, and those IgG antibodies will start stimulating TSH receptors. ठीक है? They will activate TSH receptors. In turn, they will start increasing thyroid hormone production, T3 T4 production. In that case, you'll have to give anti-thyroid drugs. Now, drugs that are given in hyperthyroidism, drugs given in hyperthyroidism, these are divided into two main categories. Okay, one, you have anti-thyroid drugs, T-thyroid drugs. Okay, then second class, you have drugs that inhibit hormone release, or drugs that inhibit hormone release. Right. So anti-thyroid drugs may, you mainly have three drugs. Okay, you have propyl thiouracil. Okay, then you have methimazole and carbimazole. ठीक है. इसमें drugs that inhibit iodine release, you can give iodine itself. Drugs that inhibit hormone release, sorry, you can give iodine, you can give iodides, and you can give radioactive iodine. ठीक है. First of all, coming to these drugs, anti-thyroid drugs, they're also called thioureilines, or they are also called thionamides. Okay, what they do is that they will reduce the synthesis of thyroid hormones. Specifically, अगर propyl thiouracil की बात करें, that is the most commonly used one. Propyl thiouracil will inhibit peripheral conversion of T4 to T3. Now you know T4 and T3 is present in blood, it is going around in circulation, and wherever the tissue requires T3 T4, it will T4 will get converted into T3 and T3 will go inside the cell. यहाँ पर in hyperthyroidism there is excessive amount of thyroid hormone, so you're trying to decrease that. So what you do is if you give propylthiouracil, T4 conversion to T3 will decrease. All right. As a result, what happens is T3 T4 levels will also fall. Not just peripheral conversion of T4 is decreased to T3, but T3 T4 levels will also fall. Large doses of propylthiouracil might cause TSH release. Okay, way too much amount of TSH release, because what happens is if you give a very large dose of propylthiouracil, there will be a sharp decrease in T3 T4, which is also a problem because while treating hyperthyroidism you might end up causing goiter. अगर T3 T4 लेवल बहुत कम हो गया तो TSH स्टिमुलेशन बहुत बढ़ जाता. TSH stimulation अगर बढ़ गया and you are already giving the patient propylthiouracil, T3 T4 cannot be increased, meaning TSH will start getting accumulated. See, normally what happens is if TSH is going up, T3 and T4 should be formed, right? यहाँ पर if you start giving propylthiouracil, these two are decreasing, meaning this fellow will start getting accumulated. If there is increased amount of TSH, I just told you, the patient will start having goiter, non-toxic goiter formation hota where thyroid gland will enlarge. So that is one problem. If you give a very large dose of propylthiouracil, thyroid enlargement might occur. Okay. Generally, once you start giving the drug over 3 to 4 weeks, you'll start seeing symptoms being subsided. Okay, symptoms of hyperthyroidism will start subsiding. Now, propylthiouracil is a fast-acting drug, relatively fast-acting drug. Carbimazole is a long-acting drug. Okay. So those are the two main differences. Propylthiouracil will act very quickly. Carbimazole will act for a longer period of time. Carbimazole is technically the prodrug of methimazole. Carbimazole will get converted into methimazole in your body. Okay. Now, specific adverse effects associated with these drugs will be the patient might have jaundice. Okay. In some rare but severe cases, agranulocytosis can occur. Okay, granulocyte number will increase. The patient might have headaches. Okay, when you are giving this. You can reverse agranulocytosis or any other severe type of vertical side effect by withdrawing antithyroid drug. If you stop giving the patient the drug, generally the side effects will subside a little bit. Okay, especially if there are severe side effects. They can also cause arthralgia or myalgia in some patients. Arthralgia, myalgia, and lymphadenopathy. Not very common, but they do occur. Now, you can use these drugs in case of Graves' disease. You can use it in toxic nodular goiter. You can use them before operation. ठीक है, hyperthyroid patients before operation, before getting operated, you can give these drugs. या फिर a pregnant lady is having hyperthyroidism. See, it is rare, but sometimes what happens is it requires therapy. In that case, propylthiouracil can be given. One thing you have to remember is that propylthiouracil has what you call little chance of crossing placenta, so there is lesser risk of propylthiouracil reaching the baby. There is some risk, but it not as much as carbimazole and methimazole. Carbimazole, methimazole easily cross over placenta, and they also get secreted in milk, so it is generally avoided in women, in pregnant women and in lactating women. Carbimazole and methimazole नहीं देते, propylthiouracil दे सकते. ठीक है, especially if a pregnant lady has hyperthyroidism, in that propylthiouracil can be given. Very little amount of propylthiouracil also gets secreted in milk, so you don't have to worry about lactating mothers as well. You can also give it in thyroid storm, that thyrotoxic crisis जो बोलते हैं उसके अंदर भी you can give it. It life threatening condition है, उसमें आप दे सकते हैं. ठीक है. Um, Now, coming to the other type of drugs, the drugs that inhibit inhibit hormone release. Specifically, first of all, we'll talk about iodides. ठीक है, iodides जो है, they inhibit the release of thyroid hormone. When you give it in a thyrotoxic patients, symptoms will subside very quickly. Within 1 or 2 days, the symptoms will subside, and the thyroid gland itself will become less vascular and it will shrink in size. So sometimes it is also used pre-operatively if you are performing thyroidectomy. If you're removing a part of your thyroid, the patient's if you're removing a part of the patient's thyroid gland, उसमें आप क्या करते, आयोडाइड ड्रग दे सकते. ठीक है. The patient's thyroid gland will become much more firmer and less vascular, so it is easier to perform surgery. You'll start giving iodine 10 days before the surgery, and in those 10 days thyroid glands will become firmer. Okay. Generally you give it as an oral solution. आयोडाइड लूगोल्स आयोडीन जो है यू वैसा दे सकते हैं, या पोटेशियम आयोडाइड सॉल्यूशन दे सकते हैं. यू विल गिव 3 drops ऑफ दैट ड्रग, 3 drops 3 times a day. ओके. जनरली लूगोल्स आयोडीन में 5% आयोडीन रहता, पोटेशियम आयोडीन में 10% रहता. ओके. नाउ iodine will be converted into iodides in your intestine, which is later on absorbed. The main side effects that occur with iodides are allergic reactions. The patient might have conjunctivitis, they might have skin rashes, there will be swelling of lips. Okay. The patient might have fever or salivary glands might swell up. Okay. अगर iodine overdosage हुआ तो then it can cause iodism. That is also a problem. So you have to be careful of that. Agar chronic overdosage ho raha for a long period of time, if you're giving a very high dose of iodides, it can cause iodism, and the patient will start having a metallic taste in their mouth. They'll have excessive salivation. They'll start tearing up a lot. Tears formation ज़्यादा हो जाता, lacrimation increase होता. They'll have burning sensation in their oral cavity and throat. ठीक है. So make sure that you avoid giving excessive dose. You will generally give iodine iodides as prophylaxis. Okay. Generally iodine or iodate is added to common salt. Okay. To avoid endemic goiter, you can give it as an antiseptic, you can give it as an expectorant, you can give it in pre-operation, okay, as a pre-operative drug before performing thyroidectomy. Okay. So then we have radioactive iodine. रेडियो आयोडीन जो है, दिस इज 131 आयोडीन 131. ठीक है. ये देने का मतलब ये है, इट इज गिवन एज अ ओरल सॉल्यूशन. ओके. इट्स रैपिडली एब्जॉर्ब्ड, and this once it goes inside, it will start emitting both gamma and beta rays. ठीक है. They'll pass through the gamma rays will pass through tissue, whereas beta particles will penetrate only a little bit of the tissue. In any case, what they will do is they will destroy only thyroid tissue. This is so that we are expecting that the patient's thyroid gland is overdeveloped, and which is why the patient is having hyperthyroidism. तो आप क्या कर रहे हैं, रेडियो एक्टिव आयोडीन देके थोड़े सेल्स को मार दे रहे हैं. Okay. You're killing a few cells of the thyroid glands. There are a few advantages and disadvantages to this. Advantage is that if you are giving over surgery, especially if you are giving radioactive iodine, the administration is very simple. It is a simple drug that you can give it as a solution, and it is very convenient. तो surgery में थोड़े risks रहते हैं, those are avoided because of this, and it is much more cheaper than surgery. Disadvantage is that it will take a long time for you to get maximum response. It will take almost 3 months to get the same response that you get from surgery. Okay. And there is risk of hypothyroidism. If you give iodine 131 for a long period of time, the patient might develop hypothyroidism. Okay. In a few months or years, if they keep on taking radioactive iodine, it can create problems. And there is a problem of cancer. Because it is a radioactive element, it can cause thyroid carcinoma. Okay. So that is about um, thyroid and antithyroid drugs. Drugs for hypothyroidism and antithyroid drugs, hypothyroidism and hypothyroidism. Now, coming to another small topic, we have prostaglandins. Prostaglandins, technically, we studied last year in biochemistry. I'll just give you a general overview of prostaglandins. Now, prostaglandins and thromboxanes, they are made together. ठीक है. आपका जो अराकिडोनिक एसिड रहता, ठीक है, अराकिडोनिक एसिड will be converted by cyclooxygenase and lipoxygenase. अपन ये इन्फ्लेमेशन के टाइम पे भी पढ़े थे, wherein cyclooxygenase is converting arachidonic acid into two products. You have prostaglandins being formed and you have thromboxane A2 being formed. ठीक है. Different types of thromboxane. Thromboxane A2 is one type. ठीक है. I just put it as TXA. TXAs. Okay. Lipoxygenase will, if arachidonic acid is subjected to lipoxygenase, it will generally make leukotrienes. Okay. These are also inflammatory. All three of these are inflammatory mediators in their own right. अब प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन्स अलग अलग टाइप के रहते हैं. यू हैव PGE1, PGE2, PGE2, then you have PGD2, PGF2, ठीक है. You have PGI2. Now, PGE1, generally PGE1 or PGE2, specifically PGE2 and thromboxane, they are responsible for contracting your gastrointestinal and bronchial smooth muscles. Okay, so when you are coughing or when peristalsis occurs, at that time you'll generally see that PGE2 and TXA2 will be present locally. Thromboxane A2 is also responsible for vasoconstriction. It will also cause platelets to get aggregated, so it is helping in clot formation. Okay. PGE2 and PGF2, these two are specifically responsible in pregnancy, specifically during labor. They are helping in contracting uterus. ठीक है. जब भी a lady is pregnant lady is going under labor or when parturition occurs, at that time prostaglandins play an important role because they are helping in contraction of the uterus so that the fetus can be expelled out of the uterus. Okay. PGI2 is responsible for vasodilation and it inhibits platelet aggregation. This PGI2 does the opposite function of thromboxane. Okay, remember that. नाउ प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन्स के दो इंपॉर्टेंट फंक्शंस है इन जनरल. प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन्स विल स्टिमुलेट बोन टर्नओवर. बोन टर्नओवर का मतलब ये है कि दे आर हेल्पिंग इन फॉर्मेशन ऑफ न्यू बोन. बोन टर्नओवर का मतलब ये है कि ऑस्टियोक्लास्टिक एंड ऑस्टियोब्लास्टिक एक्टिविटी कंटिन्यूसली हो रही. Osteoclasts are removing old bone and osteoblasts are making new bone. ठीक है, so that bones are nice and healthy. And it is sensitizing nerve endings to pain. Those are two main functions of your prostaglandins. There are other functions, inflammatory mediators and other functions of prostaglandins as well, as you saw, but the main two functions are those: bone turnover and it sensitizes nerve endings. Now if you use it or if you talk with about it with respect uh, of a drug, how you use it pharmacologically, there are two to three main functions. आप उसको you can use it obviously in labor. ठीक है. You can use it in facilitating labor. Yeah, you can use it to induce abortion. ठीक है. Sometimes to induce abortion you can use prostaglandins if you give it preterm. Before full term आप दे दिए तो abortion can occur. You can use it for labor to facilitate easier labor. You can decrease postpartum hemorrhage by giving this because they are contracting what do you call bronchial smooth muscles and gastrointestinal smooth muscles and they end up contracting uterus. You can use prostaglandins to end up decreasing postpartum hemorrhage. Okay, as much amount of hemorrhage will not occur. Then you can use it to maintain patency. Okay, generally fetus में there is something called ductus arteriosus. It is very important in a fetus for normal circulation of blood in the heart. ठीक है. Because जो ductus arteriosus रहता है, it is helping in transfer of blood from atrium to ventricle. ठीक है. Right to left जो रहता rather than atrium to ventricle, I would say from right atrium to right ventricle जा सकता. This is important in a fetus. Once the baby is born, that patent arteriosus, patent का मतलब open, ठीक है. Patent arteriosus बंद हो जाता. To keep that thing open in a fetus वो जरूरी है open रहना fetus में. Later on the baby will have enough blood vessels where circulation is becoming normalized, but when it is in a fetal stage you need that ductus arteriosus. To make sure that it is open, prostaglandins play an important role. If prostaglandin levels are low or they are not being formed properly, that whole the ductus arteriosus will close, because of which the fetus can die. So you might have to give prostaglandins externally if the fetus is not having enough amount of prostaglandins. You It will also prevent platelet aggregation. In some cases, you can also give platelet aggregation avoid करना पड़ता है if there is a patient who has a clotting problem उनके अंदर दे सकती है if there is excessive amount of clots being formed. You can also give it in glaucoma. Glaucoma is a condition in which what happens is um, intraocular pressure increases. We'll discuss about glaucoma in more detail when we discuss the last chapter toxicology. But ग्लोकोमा में मेनली क्या होता है, इंट्राऑक्यूलर प्रेशर बढ़ जाता है, एक्वस ह्यूमर ज़्यादा हो जाता है, या इन एनी केस देयर इज इंक्रीज अमाउंट ऑफ प्रेशर इन योर आई, वो कम करने के लिए यू कैन गिव प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन्स. यू कैन आल्सो गिव इट इन पीयूडी. ठीक है. इफ यू रिमेंबर, प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन्स हैव एन इफेक्ट ऑन योर गॉबलेट सेल्स, राइट. They will also decrease the amount of HCl being produced, and they will also induce increased mucus production, and they will increase bicarbonate production from your goblet cells. Okay, because of which you are able to stabilize PUD. So उसमें भी काम आते. That is about prostaglandins. So with that we have completed the unit. Tomorrow we'll see. We'll start either toxicology or we'll start some other chapter.